this is. So you're saying like nothing looks like. Okay, so I was just going to overview the PACE program in general to start us out, just so if you have any questions, just kind of any pieces related to the program itself. And then Jason's going to run through the van itself today. But please stop me if you have questions, if I can clarify anything. PACE as a program we're fairly regulated. So there are some things that I'm going to review that I have to just kind of check that box to say that we talked about. So I don't want that piece to stress anybody out, because it's a lot of words on the screen that we have to talk about. So PACE stands for Programs of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. So as a program, what that basically means is we cover all medical services, social services, really anything a person might need to be able to live safely in their home with assistance. So we're the payer, we're the care manager. The location we're sitting in today is a day center for these participants. And so transportation is a big part of the model, because we are bringing people from their home to the center and back, or to outside specialty appointments. Any primary care, therapies, so like physical therapy, occupational therapy, all of that is done here in this building. So the clinic is down that way, and we can walk around a little bit today too, so you can see it. So again, we cover all things, and transportation is a really big part of PACE. I think we can go to the next one. So this just talks about how, we're both medical and social. So home delivered meals will be part of PACE. We will be providing meals in the center during lunch hours as well. So we will be operating a kitchen downstairs, just a little bit of everything. You name it, and the program will provide it and get it out to what we call participants. So instead of clients, we call them participants, because it just, everything has to be a little different. So PACE functions out of this interdisciplinary team. So whenever, and there is a graphic, I think in here, that talks about the different disciplines, if it's blurry up here. But everything through PACE goes through this team. So if a participant has a request for something, if they are hospitalized, if we're talking about what services might be needed in the home, this team is certifying and approving all of that in discussion with the participant and their caregiver, family, whoever might be involved. When you look at all the circles for this team, it includes everybody from our physician that will be part of the program to our therapist. We have social workers on staff, a dietitian, and then drivers are included as part of the disciplinary team. And really the focus as a driver is that if you see something, say something. So if you're noticing a change in somebody that you saw maybe the previous week, you're picking them up this week and something seems off, let us know. If somebody is talking to you about a situation in their home, so maybe the aide didn't show up that morning and they haven't told us yet, but a lot of times as somebody's sitting in the van, there's chit chat happening. And so they might be telling you something, so let us know. As soon as you drop somebody off, like I said, myself, and I don't think I said my name to everybody, so I'm Katie. But you let me know. We have a nursing supervisor that she'll be up here later to talk about just some infection control pieces. But the driver's a really important part of that team, because oftentimes the drivers will see things before we do. And so we just want to make sure that communication is really strong. Same with just their home as well. If you notice that there's a change in what it looks like when you go to pick them up, if they're struggling to get to the van, maybe there's an assistive device that we might need to be looking at for them, that team. And so if there's something that you are seeing and noticing, please make sure that you're letting one of us know. So, next slide. So PACE operates out of a bill of rights for our participants. This again is one of the regulatory pieces that I have to make sure you see and know exists. The rights are pretty straightforward. We want everybody to be treated with respect and have protection against discrimination. Participants are supposed to be a part of their care here in PACE. That's why we call them participants. And so a lot of the Bill of Rights really are around that premise that we want them to have the right to choose who their providers are. They can seek emergency services whenever they need to. And they also have a right to file a complaint. And we're going to talk a little bit about that piece as well. Go ahead. Confidentiality, this is one of the scary slides with lots of things on it. And I do have just, I put in everybody's folder a confidentiality policy sign-off. Really the big thing here is, you're not talking about things that participants are telling you outside of the center. You're not talking to other participants about another participant, just all of those good things. So this is our HIPAA coverage. And so everybody that is working in the center in any capacity for any period of time has to sign off on this. So take a peek at it if you have questions, but if not, I do need to get those back from you. So PACE, again, because we operate kind of as the payer, not kind of, we are the payer, some of the things we have to track are specific to that component of the program. So PACE, we track really closely what we call service delivery requests. It's a really kind of convoluted way of saying if they ask for something, we have to track it and say what we did with that request. And that could be something very minor to something much more major. So somebody might say, so with the day center, for instance, typically people come in 2 to 3 days a week to the day center. It's not 5 days a week. But somebody might be coming in 2 days, and so they might say, a third day on Fridays when my daughter is taking the kids to appointments routinely, or I don't know, something might come up, but I want to come in for that third day. So I'd like to make a request to come in for a third day. As a PACE team, we have to take that request, and then we have to basically do an assessment to determine if that really is needed and necessary, and then we're responding back to the participant with whatever our decision is. So it could be yep, let's bring in on Fridays, let's get transportation set up, no big deal. We might say, let's bring you in on Fridays for a couple of weeks and see how it goes, see if that's really if that's helpful. Or we might say no. I don't know why we'd say no, but that's the example that I have right now. So we track all of this. And so the reason why I wanted to make sure we reviewed it today is that, again, if somebody might say something to you, that's a request. So they might say, it'd be really helpful if I had a wheelchair to get into the van with. I can get my walker to and from the house, but getting in and out of the center is a little farther, and I'd like to be pushed in a wheelchair. That would be something we would evaluate as a team and get them that piece of equipment if we think that that's needed. And we would have therapy look at that. Yeah.
Is there a form that you fill out to pass
Yes.
it on?
So we will have in your binders in the van, we'll have a form where you can document that and then hand it to myself or Pam, who will be up here. And basically, it's just you're going to say verbatim what they told you. And it could be lots of different things. A lot of times I think these requests do end up being about equipment, but it could be, they're talking about their meals at home, and it'd be nice if maybe I had 3 more during the week, or, just things like that. So if you're hearing a request, it's better just to document it and let us kind of take it from there. And then we can kind of let you know, what happens with that request as well. So, but yes, we'll put forms in the van so you can just kind of jot it down and hand it to us when you come in. So, yep. Grievances are kind of the same idea. So we have to track every complaint, every grievance that comes through the center. Again, that could be as minor as, I don't want to come in here today because my meal is always cold at lunchtime. That's a grievance. So we would need to be following up on meal service and temping and all of that good stuff. It could be something much bigger. I hope it's not, but it certainly could be. So we have forms as well that we'll keep in the vans where if somebody is really laying out a complaint, you guys can document that they told you, and then again, you'll hand it to myself or Pam, and we'll track it and complete the process from there. So, but the service delivery requests and then the grievances, that is very regulated for PACE, and so it's something we watch really closely. So if you're not sure, please ask, and we can kind of figure out if it's something you need to log from there. All right. I think that's my